Hey guys, Arik is here, your advanced Russian coach. Prepare to have fun and enjoy thought-provoking Russian lesson for the thinking students. So let's see if you remember some of the vocabulary from the last time. So what was государство? Государство here with a, that's plural. Singular would be with o at the end, государство. What was that? That was state, a state. Because the context was that on, so what was on, do you remember? It was the UN. The UN planned to create two different states, like in Palestine, yeah? Because we are learning now about the creation of Israel. Now, what was покинули? Покинули. Османы, like, look at the context, look at the screen, please. Когда-то жили еще османы, но уже давно покинули свои дома. So, покинули means left. So, they are talking about Ottoman residents of the Ottoman Empire, who уже давно, like already a long time ago, left their homes, right? Покинули. And then we had a kind of a little bit humorous expression, под шумок. Like the Jews, под шумок, быстренько захватили территории обоих предполагаемых государств. So they, под шумок means using the commotion, using the fact that no one was looking. Because шумок comes from шум, which is noise. And под шумок would mean like using the noise. So using the noise, so our last sentence, the last time was, just follow me, look at the screen. В общем, под шумок евреи быстренько захватили территории обоих предполагаемых государств, образовав таким образом Израиль. So, do you remember how we translate that at our last lesson? В общем, in general, под шумок, that's the expression like using the commotion, or in the fog of, you could say in the fog of the commotion, in the fog of war. Even though here they're not talking about the war yet, so in the fog of the commotion. Под шумок, евреи быстренько захватили, so the Jews, быстренько, comes from быстро, like very quickly, conquered, захватили, территории обоих предполагаемых государств. So the territories of обоих comes from оба, which is both. Предполагаемых comes from предполагать, to propose. Actually, even the better way to translate that would be to anticipate. Like предполагать, to anticipate. So предполагаемых государств would be anticipated states or prospected states. Образовав таким образом Израиль, so creating. Образовав comes from образовать, which is to create, one of the words to create. Таким образом, in this way, Israel. Yeah? So now please open your printed materials. And if you do not have it printed, I mean this article, please open the link below this video. Find this picture. And today we are going to start with к тому времени. So you need to find this paragraph, к тому времени. But first we are going to read the caption below this picture. So just look at this picture, and the caption here says the following. Так Израиль отмечал свою, there is a mistake here, that's not svob, that's свою. You need to correct, if you have it printed, b with u. Так Израиль отмечал свою независимость в 1948 году. So отмечал comes from отмечать. It means to mark, but in certain contexts it means to celebrate, like here. And независимость means independence. So when they say «Так Израиль отмечал свою независимость в 1948 году», we'll translate that as «So Israel celebrated its independence in 1948». And then they say, кстати, многие арабские соседи Израиля до сих пор не признают его как государство. So, кстати means by the way. Кстати. by the way, многие арабские соседи Израиля, соседи means neighbors, of course, so many Arab neighbors of Israel, до сих пор means up to now, until now. You can underline it as an expression, just underline and write above that, until now. Не признают его как государство. Не признают means do not recognize. Признавать means to recognize. И как means as. So не признают его как государство would be don't recognize it as a state. So they're saying, кстати, многие арабские соседи Израиля до сих пор не признают его как государство. By the way, many Arab neighbors of Israel until now do not recognize it as a state. And we continue. К тому времени британцы, так и не сумев устроить мирное сосуществование арабов и евреев, самоликвидировались, приняв решение о выходе из-под палестинского мандата. So let's go over the vocabulary. К тому времени, it means by that time. К тому времени. So when you have к in relation to time, you translate that as by a certain time. For example, к 12 часам, by 12 o'clock. So к тому времени, by that time. Сумев, please underline the word сумев. That comes from the verb суметь, and it means to succeed or to manage doing something. So, and tak и не. So tak и не basically means they didn't or they haven't, but it conveys the idea that they haven't done something after trying for a long time. So tak и не means like finally they didn't. You will get now how it all works together here. Sumev comes from the verb sumet, which is to manage or to succeed, and ustроить to arrange. So now look, just follow me very, very attentively. Так и не сумев устроить would be having not succeeded to manage. So look how it all works together. К тому времени британцы, так и не сумев устроить да-да-да-да-да. So up to that time, the British, having not succeeded, or like after a long trying, yeah, having not succeeded to arrange, устроить. So basically, так и не сумев, having not succeeded. It conveys the idea that they had been trying for a long time to do something. So так и не means having not. Succeeded to arrange мирное сосуществование. Сосуществование means coexistence, because so means co, and существование means existence. So having not succeeded to arrange the peaceful, мирное, coexistence арабов и евреев, of Arabs and Jews, самоликвидировались. So sama means themselves, like self, in terms of, like here, self-liquidated. So they liquidated themselves. So самоликвидировались would be liquidated themselves or kind of removed themselves in this context. Самоликвидировались. Приняв решение, so it comes from принять решение, which is to make a decision. Принять basically means to accept. The word принять. Приняв is one of the forms of the verb принять, which is to accept. But принять решение would mean to decide or to make a decision. So приняв решение, making a decision, о выходе, about the exit. Выход means exit. Из-под палестинского мандата. So in the political sense, when you use выход, exit, for example, to exit particular agreement, you might use из-под, from under, because из-под means from under. And then you talk about certain political decision that had been received previously. So, for example, in this case, о выходе из-под палестинского мандата, about the exit from under, like exit from the Palestinian mandate. Now, please see how all this sentence works together. К тому времени британцы, так и не сумев устроить мирное сосуществование арабов и евреев, самоликвидировались, приняв решение о выходе из-под палестинского мандата. Up to that time, the British, having not succeeded to arrange the peaceful coexistence of Arabs and Jews, liquidated themselves, coming to a decision or deciding about the exit from, or like from under, but in English from, the Palestinian mandate. And we continue. Next sentence. Как только Union Jack в Палестине спустился, со стороны евреев началась крайне агрессивная политика по отношению к арабам. So, как только means as soon as. Very common expression. Union Jack is the nickname, kind of a name for the English flag. So, we will just translate that as the English flag. Спустился means came down. So, как только Union Jack в Палестине спустился, meaning as soon as the British flag in Palestine came down, it means after the British left. Со стороны евреев началась крайне агрессивная политика по отношению к арабам. So, со стороны means from the side of, because со стороны. Yeah, со сторона means side, from the side of Jews. Началась, started. Крайне means extremely. So if you're not familiar, that's a very common word, крайне. So you can just underline. And that would be extremely aggressive politics. По отношению к means in relation to. So now please see how it all works together. Как только Union Jack в Палестине спустился, со стороны евреев началась крайне агрессивная политика по отношению к арабам. So as soon as the British flag in Palestine came down, from the side of the Jews, started extremely aggressive politics in relation to Arabs. Ответом на это была первая арабо-израильская война 1948 года, в которой арабы потерпели поражение. So, ответом на это была, you can relate to that as an expression, and it means the answer to that was. Okay, война means war, в которой means in which. Поражение means defeat, and but please underline this whole expression. Потерпели поражение, it means were defeated. Because it just comes together. Потерпеть поражение. It means like to experience defeat. So, or to suffer defeat, you might say. But it comes together. So, ответом на это, so they're saying that the Jews in Palestine were very aggressive towards Arabs after the British left. And then they say, ответом на это была первая арабо-израильская война 1948 года, в которой арабы потерпели поражение. So the answer to that was the first Arab-Israeli war of the 1948, в которой, so what was в которой, do you remember? Was in which Arabs потерпели поражение, suffered defeat. And then they say, потом была еще целая череда войн, в которых евреи успешно отбивались от окружающих их со всех сторон арабов и увеличивали свою территорию. Now, here, if you have it printed, just find the word voin and put this little hook above E, so that it becomes Y, right? И краткое, Y. Voin, because that's how it should be. Voin, that's plural of vayna, which is in a certain form. So that would be wars. Now, let's go over the vocabulary. Череда means sequence, or actually it was succession. That is the word. I just looked it up in the dictionary, but that's a good word for череда, succession. So when they say потом была еще целая череда войн, we translate that after that there was still целая, whole, there was still a whole succession of wars. В которых евреи, so в которых means in which, in plural, right? In which. Успешно means successfully. But in general, when you have o at the end of a Russian word, it would be, in many cases, it would be an adverb. So успешный would be a successful. Успешно, successfully. Отбивались от, yeah, you can underline it as an expression. Отбивались от basically means fought back. Yeah, отбивались от, fought back. Окружающих их со всех сторон арабов. So, окружающих means surrounding. Окружающих их, surrounding them. Со всех сторон, from all sides, literally, but like all over the place. Увеличивали means, увеличить means to increase. So, when they say увеличивали свою территорию, they increased their territory. Now, look how it all works together. Потом была еще целая череда войн, в которых евреи успешно отбивались от окружающих их со всех сторон арабов и увеличивали свою территорию. After that, there was another whole succession of wars in which Jews successfully fought back, surrounding them from all sides, Arabs, and increased their territory. Their meaning like Israeli. И эта ниточка противостояния тянется до сих пор, так как вопрос территорий не был решен. So let's see what is ниточка противостояния. By the way, I might have read it mistakenly, противостояние in plural. No, that's singular. Противостояние. Противостояние, that would be the basic form, and it means encounter or conflict. So that's противостояние, because it comes from стоять, which is to stand. Против, like in front of, like confrontation, basically. So противостояние, you might translate that as confrontation. Ниточка means thread, like you sew with ниточка, yeah? And by the way, how do you say needle? Иголочка, or иголка. So you have иголка, у тебя есть иголка, у тебя есть нитка, и теперь ты можешь шить, to sew. So, и эта ниточка противостояния, and this thread of confrontation, тянется до сих пор. До сих пор means up until now. That's до сих пор. And тянется means is stretching, or has been stretching. But тянется, that's basically present tense. So, and that thread of confrontation is stretching, or has been stretching in English, up until now, так как вопрос территории не был решен. Так как means because. Because. Вопрос территории, вопрос means question, the question of territories, не был решен. That's passive. Решен comes from решить, to decide. Решен, that's passive. So, не был решен hasn't been decided. Yeah? So, now, please see how it all works. И эта ниточка противостояния тянется до сих пор, так как вопрос территории не был решен. And this thread of the confrontation has been stretching up until now, because the question of the territories hasn't been solved or hasn't been decided. And then we have two maps here. Let's just read what they're saying. Итоги шестидневной войны. So итоги means results. Results, consequences. So the results of the sixth-day war. Израиль увеличил свои территории в 3 раза, но после вернул их Египту. Египту, Сирии и Иордании ради сохранения мира. Увеличил means increased. Но после, but after that, вернул, returned. Ради means for the sake of. That's if you might not know this word. So ради means for the sake of. Сохранение means maintenance or maintaining. And mira comes from mir, which is peace. So they're saying here, Израиль увеличил свои территории в 3 раза. So Israel increased its territories 3 times. 3 times more. Like в 3 раза, because раз means like time, yeah? So в 3 раза means 3, like threefold, yeah? Multiplied by 3. Но после вернул их Египту. But after that, вернул их, returned them to Egypt. Syria, и Иордании, and Jordan. So returned them to Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. Ради сохранения мира, for the sake of maintaining peace. Однако на территории западного берега и сектора Газа Израиль сохранил военное присутствие. So присутствие means presence. Военное means military. Однако means however. So западного берега, so западный берег, западный means west or western. Берег means bank, like bank of the river Jordan in this case. So западный берег, that's an expression meaning the west bank. So they're saying that однако на территории западного берега и сектора Газа. So, however, on the territories of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, sector, it's like sector. I think in English you also have it, but basically sector Gaza, that's a Russian term for Gaza Strip. And the Gaza Strip. Израиль сохранил means maintained. Israel maintained военное присутствие, the military presence. Okay, guys, so now I'm going to read this whole part that we have studied today. It will include this paragraph. Actually, it will include the caption, because we started from here, from the caption below this picture. Yeah, so you just follow me attentively. Don't go anywhere, and you will see how the tree of your Russian language is growing. Because do not forget, those are authentic Russian materials aimed at Russian native speakers. They're not aimed at the students. So you're doing it, guys. So just listen. Так Израиль отмечал свою независимость в 1948 году. Кстати, многие арабские соседи Израиля до сих пор не признают его как государство. К тому времени британцы, так и не сумев устроить мирное сосуществование арабов и евреев, самоликвидировались, приняв решение о выходе из-под палестинского мандата. Как только Union Jack в Палестине спустился, со стороны евреев началась крайне агрессивная политика по отношению к арабам. Ответом на это была Первая арабо-израильская война 1948 года, в которой арабы потерпели поражение. Потом была еще целая череда войн, в которых евреи успешно отбивались от окружающих их со всех сторон арабов и увеличивали свою территорию. И эта ниточка противостояния тянется до сих пор, так как вопрос территории не был решен. Итоги шестидневной войны. Израиль увеличил свои территории в 3 раза, но после вернул их Египту, Сирии и Иордании ради сохранения мира. Однако на территории западного берега и сектора Газа Израиль сохранил военное присутствие. Okay, guys? So that's it for today. Thank you so much. If you need help with your Russian, you have my contact details below. Just drop me a line. I'll guide you what to do. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.